Calling the meeting of the North Whidbey Park and Recreation District to order. It is Wednesday, 3 May, 6:20 p.m., and we are in the Oak Harbor School District Boardroom. Present are all commissioners, Commissioner Frosch, Commissioner Shingleton, Commissioner Hawley, Commissioner Fort, and Commissioner Hoffmeyer. Agenda, board statement. Okay, I wanted us to put out something so that we can explain what's going on and why certain things are happening so that we can get the explanation out to the public, because it's confusing right now, I think, to a lot of people. So is there a motion on the draft board statement?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Shingleton.
I move that we adopt and publish the proposed board statement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt and publish the proposed board statement. Okay, we're going to do discussion, and we're going to do it in a good way. So we're going to go, each person will have a chance to make their opinion, and then you'll have a second shot so that you can reply back. No one's going to interrupt. Nobody's going to interject. Nobody's going to speak out of turn. And we're all going to be calm and cool and polite. Commissioner Hoffmeyer.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to passing a board statement, I mean, I see this as a draft, and I think that's a good thing. You know, hopefully it's open to a little bit of change. I too agree that, you know, some type of board statement would be appropriate. I think, you know, if that was able to be something done unanimously, I think that it would hold more weight. There are a few places in here where I have some issues with it. You know, one of those is, you know, where it says we are disheartened that politics are currently overshadowing our work. You know, I think when we took on the most recent issue that's been the biggest issue, I think we knew that, as a board, I think we knew that that was a political issue. You know, I think we were also advised by the director that it was a political issue. I do think it's unfortunate that politics is overshadowing a little bit. However, I feel like that maybe to put that in there, maybe it just makes it more political. And if there was some way to get that sentence out of there, it would certainly help me. You know, I seen in your email where you mentioned calming the rhetoric. I don't disagree with that necessarily. However, I think as a board, I think we're more guilty of rhetoric than the public is even. And now, you know, whatever led to it being interrupted, things being interjected, you know, I've raised my voice a few times, and I regret that. You know, we were 9 minutes and 21 seconds into the last meeting, and I was called an idiot. I don't think me raising my voice makes me a bad person, and I don't think being called an idiot makes that person bad. It's a political issue, and it's been very heated. I get that. You know, then we moved down a little more to where it, you know, it does a very good job of calling out all the volunteer work done by, you know, the supporters of Clover Valley Park and the dog park, etc. And they've done good work. They've done really good work. I think if you look to the support that we've received as a district by NWAC, I feel that, you know, honestly, I feel that volunteer hours and monies donated to the pool, I feel like there's been more money donated by the NWAC families in the last year than probably supporters of Clover Valley Park in the last decade. And that's not to minimize the support that Clover Valley Park has gotten. I kind of feel like it's included in there as a red herring, honestly. And then the only other thing I have, I mean, I think the public obviously thinks that, you know, maintaining the building's number one. And I think this board agrees on that as well. However, we do have to be cognizant of, we don't want to run every program that's in there out of there and have a well-maintained building with nothing going on. And then the swim lessons being number 2, of course it is. You know, of course, you know, I'm very glad to see that it looks like we all agree on that. But I think really everything else should be number 3. You know, I think to try to put one group ahead, you know, with the way this is worded, as far as rehabilitation and exercise goes. And then it really gets into, you know, what is exercise, you know? So I really think number 1's right, number 2's right, but I really think everything else should just be left alone at 3. Real quick, I did want to point this out, when we're talking about exercise or recreation. People often wonder what's the difference between exercise and recreation. If you window shopped and walked around the mall for an hour, could you call that exercise? First, let's define what real and proper exercise truly is. Proper exercise is a planned and organized. It's hard, intense physical activity that leads to labored breathing, increased blood pressure, heart rate, pulse, and body temperature. True exercise causes temporary pain due to a lack of oxygen in the muscle. Proper exercise is performed with a goal in mind, such as building muscle, improving cardiovascular endurance, muscle strengthening, increasing or maintaining flexibility, or losing body fat. The general goal of proper exercise is to achieve good overall health, which basically means increasing your strength, stamina, and resistance to illness. Now ask yourself again, is recreation the same as exercise? Recreation could be a form of physical activity, much like exercise, but that's where the similarity ends. Unlike exercise, recreation is done by a person to have fun, relaxing, and enjoyable time. Doing so with very little stress or pain is possible. It isn't focused on intensity and proper form and technique or numerous sets and repetitions like exercise is. Unlike exercise, recreation can also be performed by anyone without any advice or guidance from an expert. Let's take swimming as an example. In the pool are two different individuals. On one side is an athlete training for swimming as a sport. On the other half is an individual swimming with friends for fun. Sure, both individuals might be making hand and leg movements, but the rest is a totally different story. The level of intensity and difficulty of the training undergone by an athlete is in no way comparable to what the individual swimming friends are doing. The goals and results are entirely different. The athlete swims to strengthen muscles and to increase stamina, to make himself or herself stronger and to swim faster. The individual with his friends is not focused on any of those except to relax and have fun while doing some physical but stress-free and pain-free activities. Simply put, exercise entails a lot of physical exertion, hard work, patience, and determination geared towards achieving a desired result. Recreation, on the other hand, is intended for fun and enjoyment. And the only reason I wanted to point that out is because it seemed like we were certainly weighing, exercise ahead of recreation. And, first of all, might have went out the way a while ago. One of the things we have to realize is this is the North Whidbey Parks and Recreation District. And, I really question whether we should attempt to redefine what the district is so close to an election. But to say that one group of people, to say that elderly people exercising are more important than youth exercising, I think when you look to the child obesity, epidemic, if you will, I certainly think that their exercise matters as much as somebody who's maybe in water aerobics, or to see that water volleyball was considered exercise and WAC wasn't necessarily. I totally think that doesn't appear right. So those are some of the things I would like to see brought into check, and I'd certainly like to see the support that the poll has been given called out as well if we're going to do a statement. And like I said, it would be really nice if we all five could agree on something. So that's it for now.
Thank you.
Thank
Those
you.
were very good thoughts. Commissioner Fort?
No comments.
Commissioner Shingleton?
No comments.
Commissioner Frosch?
Yes. I do agree with him on deleting the second paragraph right there, saying or rewording it to a phrase where it doesn't say something like politics or overshadowing, something rewording it to where it's not looking as a negative. It could be a positive if it could be reworded or wordsmithed or anything like that, or just get rid of it completely, because putting words like putting it into political terms usually has a negative effect on pretty much anything that we are trying to do. We shouldn't be political ourselves. We should just make sure that we are adding stuff to the best we can do to improve the lives of everybody in the district, such as swim programs, parks, and everything that we are responsible for. And I totally agree we should take political stuff out of there. Now, on the last statement right there, I think that should also be reworded, because even though the pool programs like NWAC and the swim lessons and everything right there are the primary means for funding, other than the maintenance operation.
Are you talking about the last, we appreciate your support along the journey? You said the last statement.
No, the second to the last paragraph.
Oh,
The
okay.
park and recreation, the district must invest our resources in
Got it.
infrastructure.
Sorry. You weren't clear.
I think that is actually putting, yes, infrastructure and safety programs, but all these programs that we're in charge of are equally important. Just because some entities like the ball fields don't bring in money, or brings in very little money, or even uses maintenance operation budgets, it should not be put in front of everything else. Everything should be equally used, equally praised, equally valued in the services. Such as, NWAC, yeah, they got a lot of parents and stuff like that. The ball fields and the off-leash dog park and everything else that we offer, it should be a blanket statement to include, hey, the pool, the ballparks, the off-leash dog park are equally important in everything that we do. And I like to see that reworded, or even taken out to where it can not be placed emphasis on something more than another.
Infrastructure includes the ball fields and the off-leash dog park, right? That's part of our infrastructure.
That's actually maintenance though, right?
No, it's part of the infrastructure.
It is part of the infrastructure? Okay. So that includes like the maintenance operation. What else does that include?
Infrastructure are your buildings and your facilities.
Okay.
So are you still needing this to be reworded?
I still think rewording it, because swim lessons second, exercise rehab programs third, all that stuff right there. I think every program should be emphasized on the level field, instead of saying, okay, this is more important than this one right here. They're all important in my eyes, that is. So.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Hoffmeyer, do you have anything else to add after?
Yeah, I think another thing we should look at, I don't think we have to look very far. I think we should look to how most municipalities do when they pass a statement like this. And, I know we've been guilty of this in the past of not doing it. Whenever we do get, a little bit of wordsmithing here, a little bit of tweaking, I think that we should have a first reading of it before it's passed at a following meeting myself. Just so, if we're trying to calm the rhetoric, and if we're trying to, be less political with it, I certainly think we should give the public a chance to comment once they know what our statement is possibly going to be. Other than that, I just wanted to hit on what Commissioner Frost said again, just that we've really, I know there are some jobs out there where maybe you're a superior and there's people under you, but it stops there, when you hold a public seat like we do, every group of taxpayers has to be treated the same. And, the 90 people that did lap swimming last year need to be treated the same as the 50 some odd people that did NWAC last year. And the people doing volleyball need to be treated the same as the people at the dog park. And I really think this is something we can hopefully get right, and all 5 of us can pass. If we can just tweak a few paragraphs here, I think we'll be there. And then up here, on this second one where it said we were disheartened about the politics, if we were to just do away with that first sentence and leave it at, on this journey, tough choices need to be made. But as a board, we must always err on the side of financial prudence. If we just moved that sentence up and made it part of the first paragraph, that would be closer to working for me. And then we get down to the 2 paragraphs near the bottom to where I would like to see, I don't have nothing wrong with how the dog park volunteers were called out, but I would also like to see the volunteers of the JVMP or Oak Harbor Pool included. And then, like I said, when it came to the other 3 programs, maintenance, swim lessons, and if we could just have all the other 3 equal, I think we're fine there. And that obviously gives us the leeway to do what we need to do with our upcoming budget, obviously. And I think that's all I have right now.
Commissioner Fort, do you have any comments?
I'm willing to eliminate the first sentence of the second paragraph.
How about if we say this? So it says, as the Board of Commissioners, the first paragraph of the NWPRD, we are charged with protecting and maintaining the district's assets, overseeing the district's operation, and carefully stewarding the taxpayer money entrusted to us. We are currently working to restore the district to financial stability. On this journey, tough choices need to be made, but as a board, we must always err on the side of financial prudence.
I have no problem with that.
I'd go for that one right there.
All right. And Commissioner Fort, did you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Shingleton?
So, Madam Chair, I would like to amend the motion
Okay.
to, I'm just going to say accept the changes that you just proposed, as well as to the second to the last paragraph. Sorry, I'm trying to be as specific as I can here.
Thank you.
But to remove the words such as lap swimming, water aerobics, and volleyball.
So it'll read, the park and rec,
Hold
oh,
on.
sorry.
As well as the word only. Sorry if that was, I hope that's not confusing, but.
Okay.
Okay.
So the Park and Recreation District must invest our resources in our infrastructure first, safety programs such as swim lessons second, exercise and rehabilitative programs third, and recreation programs after the other items are covered.
So that was my proposed amendment. So it would need a second.
Okay, so it's,
We're trying to find something we all 5 can support, so I'll second that.
How would
Okay.
that read? Would it read the Park and Recreation
Okay.
District must invest our resources in infrastructure first, safety programs?
such as swim lessons second.
Didn't we say that we wanted to get rid of that? Or
No. So such as swim lessons second, exercise and rehabilitative programs, then you delete the next clause, third, and recreation programs after the other items are covered.
Okay, so such as lap swimming, get rid of water, aerobics, and volleyball third, and then third and recreational programs only after that.
And get rid of the word only.
Only, okay.
Okay, do I have a second on that amendment to the original motion? Okay, I'm sorry, you did second it already. Forgot, sorry. Okay, so now discussion of the motion with these changes.
There was one more sentence that I would need removed to support this.
Okay,
And I think it would give us all what we want if we just remove it.
which,
It is third to last paragraph, last sentence. We are also hopeful that the competitive swim team can continue, but it cannot consume our already limited resources to do so. I would just like to see that whole sentence stricken myself.
okay, Commissioner Fort, further comments?
Now, I was wondering in the last paragraph if we would change the Park and Recreation District must invest to the M&O levy must invest our resources in the infrastructure first. So which are really fun, and of previous discussions, it seems the M&O levy is supposed to be providing most of the funds for maintenance and of the building and also the ballpark, as opposed to recreational programs are supposed to basically be paying for themselves more or less. So
Madam Chair. Is it okay if I respond to you?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So I understand what you're saying, but I think in this case, what we're trying to say what we value. So I understand your point, but it's really, I think it's really more about saying that we as a district, this is how we intend to, if you will, spend the tax money.
Except that the Park and Recreation District, it's not just tax money. We do have
Okay, well.
We do have user fees, and that's why I was trying to make it clear that's the M&O levy we're talking about.
Well, but we're talking about all of our resources, so that program money also it goes into the same, that's what we want to do with all the money. We don't want to fritter away 300,000. I don't think.
Well, I don't either, but,
So I want to invest whatever money we have, it's like,
but
fuck this.
the 300,000 should more or less cover the recreational.
It
side.
should, and that goes in those bottom priorities.
Madam Chair, can I add
Okay,
something on that?
now we're, okay, so Commissioner
Okay.
Fort,
I'm not hard and fast on that.
are you okay with that? And do you have any other comments?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Shingleton. Now, Commissioner Frosch, you may speak.
All right, can we just add on there the...
Which paragraph?
The paragraph Commissioner Fort was talking about, just add on there on top of where is it? The Park and Recreational Districts and the M&O, Maintenance Operation Levy. Combine them into both, just say both of them in there. By it's just having it Parks and Rec District or the M&O, have both in there.
I think that will make it cumbersome. It's my opinion. I just think it would make it more cumbersome. I think Park and Recreation District is inclusive of the M&O money and the program money that we gather. That's just my opinion. If you guys want to change it, if everybody wants to change it, you can say we want to change it. But
If Parks and Rec covers everything on the M&O, I think we should just keep it as Parks and Rec District then. Because if it does cover it, I mean, I do agree with that. It's adding more stuff than we need to.
yes, okay. The line about the competitive swim club, I absolutely want that to stay in there.
Is there any way we can reword it just a little bit?
Well, how would you like to reword it?
And where it says, but it cannot consume our already limited resources to do so. If there was a way to wordsmith that and work it to where it says to use as little resources as possible or something. I mean, I'm kind of open to just to where it's open to where if it needs a little bit of support to continue. Much like the director's vision we seen in June, I think it was, with the 3-year program. I mean, if this is something, at least for me, if this is something to where he says, hey, this can be financially stable in 1 year or 1.5 years, I would like to see it, leave it to where we can give it a little bit of support along that way if we need to.
I do not agree, but
I mean, for me to vote for it, I would need that sentence changed, certainly, I think. Otherwise, I think we're going to inflame the politics of the issue and going to see much more heated rhetoric with August coming up very quickly.
and we're trying to err on the side of financial prudence. We can't afford a program that keeps expending so much money.
Can
when
we
have-
just focus on
sorry,
the statement?
Thank you.
We just focus on the statement?
Thank you. Okay.
I don't know if there's some type of statement to where you get what you want out of it, but do you see where I'm saying as well, and some middle ground?
I do, but I'm waiting for you to suggest, I don't want to get rid of that clause. If you can think of a different wording, or somebody else can.
I have a suggestion on this one, but it cannot consume our already limited resources. I would rephrase that into, but it can be supported, or it can have limited support,
But it must have limited support.
but must have limited support for this program, which means that is essential, but it still needs a little bit of money to keep it running.
No. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. It's been moved and seconded that the draft board statement will be approved and published with changes that were made to the second paragraph and the second to the bottom paragraph. And we talked about those changes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Can I abstain on it?
You can if you want.
Yeah, I abstain on this.
Okay, and the board votes, the chair votes aye. We will do name call, so Commissioner Frosch. Sorry.
Abstain.
Commissioner Singleton.
Aye.
Commissioner Fort.
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer. And Commissioner Hawley votes aye. The motion passes. We will sign this and publish it. Okay. The 2017 levy ballot verbiage. Did everyone look at that? It's basically the ones we had for November. We just changed it to August 1st. That was the only change we had to make.
Resolution 1701?
Yes.
Okay, not, there's something else here.
So, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So we have three things
Oh,
in
this
front of
is-
us. I just
oh.
want to be sure that I understand
Okay,
what.
all right. What we're talking about right now is the Resolution 1701. Sorry, I didn't realize you guys had those other stuff too.
Okay.
So this is the resolution, and it's the same one that we approved the wording on for the November election. We changed November to August 1st. And this one we have to get in. Steve, when do we have to get it in?
May 12th.
May 12th. So it's exactly the same. The lawyer has approved it. I thought he had already approved the resolution. Oh,
He doesn't think there's anything wrong with it, but he has.
okay. And it is basically what we did before, right? Yeah.
Other than the date changes, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then you added the one change that he recommended to it, if you look
Oh,
on-
yeah.
if you look down below where the resolution, blah, 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 the chairman, where it says in bold, North Liberty Park and Recreation District, what he suggests to do is add the colon, and then spell out, John, that all the things that it is right there, because that's what people are going to see first.
So before they say no automatically, oh, that's the pool. So maybe they'll,
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That's his input on
it does.
I'm confused now with the other thing.
I had a couple thoughts I thought might help us as well whenever we get there.
Okay, right now we're just doing the resolution. So does anyone have a problem with the resolution? Can I get a motion on the
I'd
resolution?
like to see one thing reworded.
On the resolution?
Yes, that I think could help us.
Okay,
Those baseball fields, I've seen them used for so much more. So I wonder if baseball / multi-use fields might not help
What do they
us.
get
I've seen them
used for?
Soccer, lacrosse, model
Oh.
airplanes, kites. I've seen them used for so many more things that maybe we get 10 more votes and maybe that's what it takes.
playing fields? I mean, what would you call them besides ball
Playing
fields?
fields, maybe playing fields, ball fields, playing fields. You know, I think.
Recreational area.
No, because ball field says a specific
Yeah, it
thing
does say
that they,
specific thing,
but maybe
yeah.
ball field / recreational areas, maybe.
Something like that I think might
But
possibly help.
Is it going to be is that going to be too much right there?
That's why I just wondered if not baseball multi-use fields and just one more word.
Well, because it doesn't say baseball, it says Clover Valley ball fields, not baseball fields. It says ball fields, which,
It might have been reworded then. There was 1701 says baseball fields.
oh, down below it
Yeah, it
says two
says,
baseball
yes.
fields. You're right. You know what, maybe we should put, in the down below, we could put the off-leash dog park and two, I could say recreational, because that to me limits it more.
Exactly.
It's not a ball
And I think
field.
baseball is a good thing with a lot of support, but maybe.
Sports.
Sports fields?
Yeah.
Sports / recreational.
I mean, its main use is baseball. Maybe baseball / sports fields or something like that.
Softball and you got all that stuff, so.
So, okay, somebody make a motion for what we're going to change it to.
So what do we think, baseball / sports or baseball multi-use sports? Okay, I move that we, I got one other thought as well.
Oh.
And I'm not stuck on it. Where it says 2, we don't necessarily need that number there.
Where does it say
Unless we want
2?
to leave it. We need it, okay.
Where?
And 2 baseball fields.
Oh.
I mean, if other people think we need it, that's fine. So, and 2 baseball / sports fields.
or multi-use fields.
Okay, so that was a motion.
Yes.
That we adopt.
Yeah,
You
there
wanna-
wasn't a motion.
I motion that we change the verbiage to 2 baseball fields / sports fields, and then that we pass the resolution as amended.
Can I make a recommendation? It's 2 baseball / sports fields?
Yes.
So we don't, okay.
Yep.
Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay. So do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we change Resolution 1701 to read, and 2 baseball / sports fields, down in the verbiage down here, right? And adopt it as amended. Any other discussion?
I agree with taking the word "to" out,
Ah.
just because I don't, I mean, it,
Maybe they think we have 3.
Okay, so
someone will think it's the other
do you
part.
amend your motion to include taking the 2 out? Okay,
Absolutely.
That's on both of these.
and that was seconded.
The top one and the bottom one, right? Because this one says 2 baseball fields and that one says 2 baseball fields, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to change both of them?
No, well,
no, that would be the right thing to do.
do you want to change the, so Clover Valley ball / sports fields up in the dark part?
Yes.
No, what he's referring to is right
How about-
here.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
yes, good
'Cause
point.
if we're changing that, we might as well change that as well.
Yep, baseball, sports fields. And do we want to change in the dark part here, do we want to change that to read ball / sports fields?
Yeah, we'll go baseball, same as we did at baseball / sports fields.
I would,
Yeah, say
Madam
it,
Chair.
make it the same. Oh,
Oh, I would actually, since if what I understood that to mean is this is going to be the header, we might want want brevity there, but that would, so in other words, just put sports fields or something, right? If it's a heading.
Okay,
And then have the text be a little slightly more defined.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so far we are changing it in this part and this part, but I don't have any change in the dark part here yet. So we're going to leave that as it is.
The dark part here.
The title part.
I thought
Sorry.
we were going to...
believe that is what those word
The
people call
bold.
that.
The bull.
Is that where you suggested sports fields, Wendy?
Perhaps. I mean, it just, I wouldn't add all of the other verbiage since it's a
Or
title.
maybe just leave it how it is, then maybe. Huh?
Maybe, yeah.
I like ball
mean,
fields
if that's if that's how people know it, I mean, I'd love to rename it, right? It's the it's the Clover Valley Recreation Area, and as for this, people are like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
Okay. So, it's been moved and seconded that we make the changes to Resolution 1701 as stated, which will go and replace 2 baseball fields to and baseball / sports fields in the 2 places. Everyone in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And chair votes aye, unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Okay, so that is so this has to be signed, lickety-split. So,
The word "to" stays in there?
no, the word "to" is being, TWO is being taken out.
Yeah, that's what I had. I thought I
Okay,
can have this retyped, and I don't have to, it doesn't have to be on the county until the 12th. So I can leave it in, at the front desk.
okay, so everyone, you need to go by the pool. When are you going to have it done for us tomorrow?
I'll send an email out when it's up.
Okay, go by the pool and sign, and as, you know,
I plan to do it tomorrow.
okay. All right. And so what else, did you have this, or?
Yeah,
Because that was the other thing. Okay, the other thing that we have to talk about regarding verbiage of the levy ballot verbiage, there's a piece that has to go in with it that we have to do kind of now. And it's a plain language explanation of what the levy is about. And so,
So that's the one with the yellow on it.
yes.
Okay.
There are 2, there's an email that I got from the elections office officer today giving me examples. And then the yellow one, I just took a shot at 2 different drafts to have something to look at.
Thank you.
Yes.
And if it can be decided tonight, great.
So got it, okay. So there are 2 different things that our director has put together. So I like longer, so I liked the second one better.
Second paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah, can
They're-
we just
they're-
have a moment to read them?
Yes.
And this is going in the ballot, right?
I'm sorry?
This is going in for the voting, the ballot, right? It's saying exactly what it's for.
Yes. It'll go on, my understanding is it'll go online to say this is, in plain language, this is what it is.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, this isn't the problem that South Woodby ran into with not being able to ask for their 1% increase per year?
No, what was the way that their ballot was worded.
Okay, so this is not, we don't have to put anything in there about the 1% per year.
No,
Okay, thank you.
no.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I move that we adopt the verbiage from the second paragraph, the alternate version.
I second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the verbiage in the second paragraph. Discussion, let's start on this end. Commissioner Frosch,
No comments. I like it.
Commissioner Singleton.
The one thing, I didn't want to complicate the motion, but the one thing that I would actually change is I would, based on our previous discussion, I would change the order of districts, recreation programs, and facilities to districts, facilities, and recreation programs.
Good catch.
So I will move to amend the motion to change the order of recreation programs and facilities to facilities and recreation programs.
Second?
Okay. Second, forward. Can we, okay, so that's the second on the amendment, got it. Okay. Anything else? Okay. There are a couple things that I think actually have to be changed. It says, authorizes North Woodby Park and Recreation District to levy a regular tax levy, which seems like, of not to exceed. So I think that extra of, that was what South Woodby had in theirs, and Kaz thought it was lawyerese or didn't notice it. I think that of is an extra word that shouldn't be in there. It doesn't sound like how normal people talk. To levy a regular tax levy not to exceed 17 cents per thousand. See what that-
This is legalese, not normal.
I know, but this is not supposed to be legalese. It's supposed to be plain language.
Okay.
Would a comma work in there?
No. To levy a regular tax levy not to exceed 17 cents. That word "of" in there is just extraneous. I think it just, somebody was typing somewhere and they missed that they left it in there, is my guess. But so that's one. And then for collection in the years 2018 through, it's 2018 instead of 2017. That's a typo or a mistake. 2018 through 2023. And then down at the second to last line, it says, the maintenance and operation of the district's facilities and recreational programs to meet the, I would say just needs, not recreational needs, but the needs of the district. Because we have some security issues and safety issues that we, swimming lessons and stuff, they're not just all recreational needs. We have regular needs. So I would delete recreational.
So it'd be the portion of maintenance and operation of the district's needs?
Yeah, yes, to
And
meet
get
the
rid of
needs of the
recreational
district.
programs and facilities, that will go?
No, leave that one in. But it's like, of the district's facilities and recreational programs to meet the needs of the district.
Oh, okay, I'm one sentence above,
Yeah.
right there. Okay.
Okay. And the surrounding communities. The actual levy amount will be based on the actual assessed value of all taxable, I would put that in there, all taxable property within the district, and I would delete each year. And the only reason I thought all taxable, that was a phrase that was in their school district one, and I said, yeah, let's say it's all taxable property, even though it's kind of, it might be extraneous. So I'm not hard over on that one.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
So I'll move to amend, or a second amendment, to adopt the suggested changes.
Thank you.
Including removal of the word "of", including correction of the year 2017 to 2018, including removing the last occurrence of the word recreational. Well, I guess it's probably the only one. And then to insert all taxable property in the last sentence in lieu of the property.
okay. And delete each year.
I didn't catch that. Delete each year. Okay.
Okay, is there a second on that amendment?
Second.
Okay. Any other recommended changes?
We were going through discussion.
Oh, sorry, you're right, we're still in discussion. Commissioner Fort, sorry.
No comment.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer.
I feel like we're going in the right direction here. Nothing's jumping out at me. I feel like maybe we ran over some comments that Kaz might have wanted to make on our last agenda item, so I'd like to yield any time that I have to him, just to make sure we're getting it right. On our changes, we're doing good there, everything seem right?
No, I'm good. The only, I do have one, it's not that I want to have another amendment to a motion for amendment number 2 to the original. But we're calling it, I titled it there, the M&O levy renewal. I just shortened that so I didn't sell the words. And then I look down there and go, the passage of the maintenance operation levy renewal, blah, blah, blah. I just thought, for argument's sake, what if you want the passage and renewal of the maintenance operations levy? I don't know if it matters one way or the other, I just throw it out there as a suggestion.
Oh, I like that better, actually.
Then we're gonna have to change the
What
maintenance
was
and
the change?
operation of renewal.
Could you state
as
your
well.
change again?
Yeah, the change would be, it would be the passage and renewal of the maintenance and operation levy. Basically, the word renewal would come up
Okay.
after the word passage would go and renewal.
Or do we even,
Redundant.
yeah, it's redundant. If it's renewed, then it has passed. So we could just be the renewal of the maintenance and operations levy.
I caught that just as you were saying it. So that's my only.
I like that.
So you'd be happy, you'd be okay with the renewal of the? Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have a motion to that effect?
I motion that we amend the statement to include renewal to replace passage of the So read the renewal of the maintenance and operational levy authorized.
Do I get a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this topic? I think we're ready to vote. Do you want me to read what the words are now?
Yes, please.
Okay. The renewal of the maintenance and operations levy authorizes North Whidbey Park and Recreation District, the district, to levy a regular tax levy not to exceed 17 cents per 1,000 of assessed valuation each year for collection in the years 2018 through 2023. In accordance with Resolution 1701, approving this proposition, these taxes would pay for a portion of the maintenance and operation of the district's facilities and recreation programs to meet the needs of the district and surrounding communities. The actual levy amount will be based on the actual assessed value of all taxable property within the district each year. Oh, no, wait, we deleted each year, sorry. Each year is gone.
I do have a question. Is the comma supposed to be before or after in accordance with resolution 17 tax 01, comma,
No.
approving this proposition, these taxes?
No.
So
In
it
accordance
should be
with,
like-
in accordance with Resolution 1701 approving this proposition. So,
Approving this, okay.
yeah, because 1701 approves the proposition.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so it's been moved and seconded that this amended statement be adopted with multiple amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Actually, the executive director had his hand up real quick.
Oh, sorry.
What the process after the vote, I was trying to get your attention there.
Oh.
I will then send over, I will send out to you all, and I will send over to the lawyer tomorrow, and then he'll take him, he said it'll take him a couple of days, because he thinks he's going to have to write the whole thing, but if we've done this for him, and all he's doing is approving it, then it should come back to us, and then at that point, I'll let you know that he's okay with the verbiage, and then next Friday, this and the resolution with the ballot verbiage will go down the county.
Hopefully he doesn't put the O back in there.
Pass a pending
What's
legal
that?
approval.
Hopefully he doesn't put the O back in there.
Yeah, do we need to,
Yes,
what?
yes, we do.
Okay.
He already suggested it, so.
Okay. All right. It's been,
Since we didn't really finish voting.
Okay. Okay.
I move that we amend the motion to include pending legal approval.
Second.
any discussion? All right. It's been moved and seconded that we pass the second version with the amendments pending legal approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, unanimously approved. Thank you. And I would say if he has, like just a few word choices, I think you could probably just send it to us and say, here are the changes he made, and everyone can come back and say, fine. And if you have a problem with what he said, then we'll have to meet again before next Friday. But if we're all okay with whatever legal changes he made, then we don't have to meet. And I'm not trying to...
Just reply to me without copying anyone else. And then
I'm sorry?
just reply to me without copying
Yes,
anyone else.
exactly. Don't reply all. Does anyone have an issue with that? Okay. All right. Ladies, we finally got to your part of the thing. Quarter one budget review. The way we're going to do this, the way we did the last time, and I think it sort of worked, because we...
Oh, regular meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
Good point, thank you.
Yep. May regular meeting date, what was the date that was available?
Okay, so we can actually go back to the regular date there.
Oh, okay.
We have a meeting here, but there's another issue that needs to be addressed, and that is there's a December 28th regular meeting date. This place is closed that week. So I asked for alternates. Without changing the time, our regular meeting time, we need to go Wednesday the 20th, which is a week earlier, or Thursday the 21st.
We can't talk about it right now.
Facilities available.
It's not on our agenda. We need to wait.
Yeah, Okay, so May is good. Let's talk, we'll put that on our agenda at the May regular meeting to talk about December, okay? So 6:30 PM on the 25th of May. Okay, bueno.
You
Thank you.
said
Thanks for
6:30, right?
pointing that out to me.
Can we discuss that at all?
What?
The May regular meeting?
No. Or it's the meeting date,
Yeah.
which is,
Just as far as the date and location, I was wondering if we could talk about that.
oh, do you need to change it? Or do you have a game?
The date's not an issue for me.
Okay.
And the location's not so much an issue. The only thing that jumps out a little bit is it feels like we've averaged probably 2 meetings a month. And it feels like those meetings have probably averaged 2.5 hours a meeting. It's $20 an hour, that's $1,200 a year if we keep doing it here, which is almost the entire Clover Valley Park budget, which is tough. But there are reasons that I support having it here. I don't think the pool's necessarily that inducive with so much going around. And this is nice, people can hear us if they need to. So we can hopefully we can handle the $20 an hour. And I appreciate Oak Harbor School District letting us use this. So this is a conducive facility for sure. And there's a lot less going on. At some point, it felt like we voted to have a couple meetings here, but I didn't know if we voted to have them all here. So I guess I'd like to see that maybe on the next month's agenda.
Yes,
Okay.
we will talk about that.
So are you still going to have the May 26th at 6:30 PM? We're going to discuss the regular meetings, or just all the meetings, the special meetings of having the location here?
We will talk again about where to hold our meetings,
And that's on the 26th,
the 25th,
25th.
yeah. All right. Okay,
That's all I had.
thank you. Okay, now budget review. So budget review, because we can last a page without interrupting. So what we're going to do, the director will go over the first page. Does everyone have your things? He will go over the first page. At the end of the page, we will go in turn to ask our questions or make our comments. So if he says something, don't interrupt him, don't interject at that time. Just write a little note to yourself, ask your question, okay? All right, Mr. Director.
So this is basically just a review of the first quarter, and I'll run through it as suggested by the chair. Like I said last year when we did this, keep in mind this is just Q1, it's not the year. Revenue and expenses, not all of them are linear, so things are going to look like they're not. The numbers are based on the approved 2017 budget, which I do anticipate there will be some sort of revision midway through the year, or our mid-year revision. So revenues, trying to figure out what's in. Oh, actually, I don't start. Right now, revenues, we're at 14% of the year, 14% of our yearly revenue as a whole, which is better than last year, where at this point we're only at 10%. So we're doing better that way. And again, the main factor in that is the levy money, the way it's distributed. So if the levy money had been distributed evenly throughout the year, we would have had $144,000 in Q1, vice the $47,000, and our total revenue would have been $232,000 plus right now. So just so you know, if the levy revenue wasn't the way it was, that's how it would look there. So the remaining programmatic revenue, that's not as predictable. In fact, the levy money is only the in-year total is what's usually predictable. So jumping into it, if you go, all right, item number 11 are daily admissions. Right now, I think it's low from where it should be, right? But in our discussions and looking back, this is kind of a seasonal thing. And while it's a concern to us right now, we're going to look in the summer time frame to see if it catches back up to where it's supposed to be. If it doesn't, then or actually as we're approaching summer and we're not seeing it improve, then there'll be something we'll address there. School group, which is number 19. So we're there for that number because Oak Harbor School District doesn't come anymore this year. Now, They don't do that because they historically only come 3 times a year. We're working with them to try to change that and expand it beyond just 3rd grade to get more from Oak. It seems like Oak Harbor Elementary is the only thing we're going to get, but we're trying to see if we can't get them to move beyond 3rd grade, whether it's 2nd grade or open it up to K through, maybe K through 4 now, won't it? Next year it'll be K through 4, because 5, 6 will be over. But the other thing is that I'm going to try and talk over at North Whitby Middle sometime. They're basically a walk across the street. It's the big street. But I'm going to talk to them about their 7th, 8th grade and see if there's a chance that they might want to include swim or swim lessons or something like that in there. So we're looking for more options to do that. But in the meantime, you'll see in there that we do, Erica Miller and I last year secured the Home Connections group. They come over, and they're pretty regular coming over there all around the year. And there's another independent, I don't think they have a name, there's another independent homeschool group that has 12 or 13 kids that come in, something like that. They come in and they're pretty regular. So, I mean, it's expanded. So this has actually grown some over last year. But I wanted to address it just because it already shows 100%. And there's still a lot more that I'm hoping that we can get Oak Harbor School District to do. Again, as I said last year, the big issue is transportation. But there's a school right across the street and somewhat right across the street that I'm hoping they can jump to. Let's see. Okay, youth lessons, number 21. So that'll be the last one for this page. Again, like last year, winter months were slower. We did something this year, though, as I mentioned when we did the budget for the year. We built a week in between our classes instead of running them to Thursday one week and then starting Tuesday, because we were having conflicts that were the first night or two of the first week of each new session. There was a lot of there were a lot of scheduling conflicts and things like that. So we built in a week in between. And the net of that is we'll have one less class during the year, but our conflicts should go down. Also, during the school year here, another problem we have is with most of our college kids gone away to different places, we rely on high school kids and other people that are qualified to be instructors. So we are having some availability issues with that, but we look to see that improve as we go along. Right now, it's lower than it should be, I believe, and we're working on that. That's it for page 1.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer, questions or comments?
I guess a comment on the number 19, the school groups. I know one of the things they've done at Shane School a few years is they've done like a walk-in field trip to the bowling alley and watch them cook pizza and bowl a few rounds, and that's from Broadview. So I really think every school in town quite possibly can play. I mean, but that's crossing Highway 20 and everything, so.
Wow.
Well, and I met with Steve King, who's the assistant superintendent, on this issue. We talked twice about it. It's really coming down to how they get, he supports the effort. It becomes the money,
Yes.
in transportation for the schools that are farther away.
Clover Valley, that's quite a haul.
Well, but they're on their own anyway, so they don't come over as individuals.
Oh, okay.
The Home Connections group, they don't come over.
I did notice, I know Shane School Broadview, they did some type of, the PTA did some type of something with like 120 kids that went swimming.
Well, they do that when they rent the pool
Yeah.
for an event.
That was a start. I know that you guys reaching out there to help with that.
Anything else? Commissioner Fort?
No comment.
On number 11, the seasonal attendance is like, how did it look from last year at this time? What was the comparison? Did you compare last year at this time?
I did not look at that, quite frankly.
To me, that's what I always do, is look back and say, so is it about 18% last year? Awesome, because that absolutely tells you we're on the same track as we were last year, or lower, higher, whatever. I would do that. And then I noticed passes are at like 42% of what we expect. And it's like, do a lot of people buy their passes at the beginning of the year? Is that something that you've noticed, Julie?
Some people do. We get a small influx. I think people, their New Year's resolution is to get healthy. We're selling a lot of quarterly passes versus the annual passes, so there's definitely been a shift there because that's what people can afford each time. But we're starting to get into the phase where people that pre-purchased early, they're expiring, so they're renewing.
That's what I was wondering. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Shingleton.
The only thing I wanted to add was just, it's a little extension of this, but is one suggestion, whether it's to the school or to any other groups, one suggestion that was made to me by a board member for Island Thrift is if someone can demonstrate need for funding for something that would produce good results in our community, that you can go, so meaning whether it's the school district or someone else, can go to Island Thrift and request money from them. You know, it's not something that we could do on their behalf, but that group could go and say, we'd really like to fund this program and request money. It's just, it's another funding avenue that might help us and help them at the same time, if that's helpful. Sorry, I know that was off track, but.
So your suggestion is to talk to the, like, Home Connections or the independent group or anyone else out there?
Or even the school district.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd really love to try a trial of this program, and here's how much we would need to do it. But again, we couldn't request it. The school district would have to request it, a program that they want to do. I mean, but I think it's a win-win. And again, a board member had suggested that as possible funding sources for groups that don't have a lot of funding. So anyway, sorry, I know that was off track, but.
Commissioner Frosch.
No comment.
Okay, next
I had
page.
one more, actually. The Silver Sneakers, I meant that's basically a for-profit insurance company that funds that, correct?
I would imagine they're for profit.
Yeah, so, and it's apparently a losing proposition for us, you said. So are we gifting insurance companies, for-profit companies?
No, I don't consider it gifting. It's the way that they do it. And we either the people will come in, or they'll either allow those people to use that part of their Medicare to come in, or they won't allow them if we
But
want
do
to.
the insurance company use that for advertising to get people to buy their insurance?
I guess I would imagine they do. You know.
Okay.
The way around, the way that we get Silver Sneakers under more control is if and when we're able to get a recreational, like a rec room that has weights and bikes and stuff like that, because then we can go to a tiered membership level, and the Silver Sneakers will pay the entry tier level. And if they want to do, like, if we were to say, all right, aerobics is not included in that, well, then they would have to pay aerobics whatever way, but they would get to water walk or use the weight room or whatever you want to call it, fitness room, like Anacortes has. That's how I think that's the way when I talk to them that we have to be able to control, because we can't stop them from coming in. They can come in as many times as they want.
Do we have to have that contract?
No, but then there are senior citizens who rely on that to come and get their exercise, and all would be declining that an opportunity.
But I mean, the senior citizens still come in with other programs. But we don't have that insurance, we don't have those particular insurance companies. They have to end up paying, I don't know, it just seems to me, which insurance companies does that?
It used to be primarily Blue Health, I think. So now I think it's Kaiser is the primary one, but it's multiple insurance companies that contract for that.
So is it most insurance companies that contract for that? Or a minority?
I don't know, because I don't know how many hundreds of insurance companies there are in the country. I know that within any insurance company, some plans cover it and other plans do not. So with Group Health, if you have a select plan that, like one that gets a selection for, it will cover it, but like some of their lower level plans do not cover it. So it's not even uniform across insurance companies.
So it's more the select plans it covers and not for the lower plans.
I believe that is typically the case.
Again, so it's people who can afford the better insurance can get the Silver Sneakers. Those who can't afford the better insurance can't get the Silver Sneakers. That's the problem I have with the concept, but that's okay. I mean, it seems like, again, we're gifting, or we're funding, we're redistributing wealth from the, anyway.
I see what you're saying, and I wonder if, when we're looking at our next budget year, maybe we wouldn't be better off to administer our own type of Silver Sneakers program that was open to all, or something. But
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, next page.
All right, page 2, I'm just going to, basically that ends up, pretty much ends up the revenue part. Okay, meat host revenue, you can see in there on line 31, there's a $37, that's a late payment from last year. So, well, we haven't had any meats yet this year, there was a late payment from something last year, or from the October meet. Candy and snacks, again, kind of seasonal, we're a little bit behind on that. And again, I don't know where that one is. There's some things in here I do know we were last year. That one there is in large part me. In Q1, I put on tighter controls on what Julie could buy, so it limited the selection and the variety of the things she had, because again, my intent is to try not to have to get the reserve during Q1, but it's due to me not letting her do what she wants to do. Anything we buy concession-wise, eventually we recover the cost. I said, no, I don't. I want to make sure I have money for payroll and other things that are more important, so I reduced the amount I let her spend. That's why that's numbers down. So, well, that wraps up everything on there, and part of the next page there. At the end of Q1, programmatic revenue is tracking at 21%, and I consider that to be within the norm. Even though total revenue is at 14%, and of course that's the levy, the way the levy's done. Again, contrasting that, as I said earlier, that's up from a year ago where it was 10% on the total revenue. So that's it on the revenue part, which takes us actually into the next page. So any questions on the rest of the revenue section?
Commissioner Frosch?
No
Questions?
comments.
Commissioner Singleton?
Nope.
Line 47, Oak Harbor High School boys swim team, it's the viewing room rental. This is revenue after taxes. I didn't understand that, what that meant.
Well, the room rental is $15 an hour,
Okay,
so $15 minus the tax that we pay to DOR.
we'd had a question at one point, how 15 became 7,920 or something.
thank you. I was like, what? I just didn't understand that. Okay, thank you. That was all I had. Commissioner Fort.
Nothing. Thank you.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer. Okay, next page.
Okay, I'm going to start next on expenses. If you go down quickly at the line 200, you can see we're about 19% of our projected expenses at Q1. So I consider that a good thing. It's tracking close to where, slightly lower than what would be a linear. Again, that has to do with the expense controls I put in there and the work that my department heads are doing to control what they're using or expending in their department. So the first thing is on line 66, the reserves. The plan for this is now, well, once we get confirmation of what our distribution is for the April 30th distribution, which we should know here hopefully next week, is to repay the $15K we took out of payroll immediately. And then I've talked this over with Joanne, and she feels comfortable with it. She's the one that really has a better handle on where the money is. From June through October, we have a goal this year to put 13K back into it. And what that would be was, our plan is to go 2,000 a month there. And then in November, after the next large levy distribution, even the remaining balance, so like a month we didn't get 2,000 in, or we got 0 in, whatever the balance is of that 13K, we would do in the November distribution at that point there. And so The other thing that I want to address on this right here, although it falls under the expenses, this is not really an expense. This is just a transfer of money. It doesn't show up on the treasurer's report or housing report as an expense. When you see it on the treasurer's report, all you see is transfer. There's no, so I want to move this out of an expense. I mean, it can stay in the thing here, but I need to figure out how to decouple it so it doesn't show up as an expense. But it's still in here so that we know this is our goal and we're tracking how we're doing to a goal. But it's not when you move money from your checking to savings or savings to checking, it's not an expense, it's just a transfer of money. There's no receipt, there's nothing in there. So the plan is not just it's gone, but I need to decouple it so it doesn't show up as an expense down the bottom line at the bottom. It's just a transfer of money. That's it on that page. The rest of
Okay, Commissioner Hoffmeyer, we'll start at that end.
No.
Commissioner Fort?
No.
The facility reserve, it's like you do need to offset, if you're going to put money, if you're transferring money into the reserve, you do need to offset it from our income so that we don't, we have $13,000 extra dollars we get to spend on whatever. We need to know that, nope, it's in the reserve, it's not there to be spent on whatever. So I'm not
disagreeing with
Okay.
you on that. I'm just saying it's not an expense line item. It just goes over there, and now it'll show up in the reserve as a balance, a new balance.
Yeah.
And it's not ours until I feel a need to do it, and I let you know why I'm doing it like any other time.
Yeah, I kind of like it in the budget as it's not an expense, you're right, but it's like, I like it in the budget where it shows we are absolutely trying to,
Right.
you know.
Right, and my intent is figure out how to decouple it so it doesn't, show up in the bottom line, but it's still trackable.
Okay,
So that we're not losing, so we can't say, oh, it wasn't in there, so we forgot all about it.
okay. Commissioner Shingleton? Commissioner Frosch?
Nope.
Okay, next page.
All right. On to line 9, salaries and wages right there. So
Line which, sorry?
salaries and wages on line 90,
Okay,
that's the total there, at about 21% on that. So, well, that's within the norm of tracking linearly, and it does pick up in the summer. It is a little bit lower, and that's because I am working with, especially the lifeguards, to make sure that, and they're getting better at it. If I don't need to have 2 or 3 or whatever in here, they're sending people home. So it's something that could help keep this number down, especially in light of the minimum wage increases that are coming. I made a note on line cleaning and sanitation on line 116. No, sorry, that's not it on the page. I mentioned it on the next page. That's all I have on the page.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer? Fort?
Line 85, when we talked about, you told us a couple months ago the coach was going to take over some of the admin functions, but you said it would be some, because I tried to pin you down how much, and you said, maybe about half. So now, are you now saying about all of it?
It'll be most all of it. I have to wait and see what's happened since this amount here up through April, and what's been done, because I believe now the transition is 100% to it.
It is not 100%, it won't be 100% until we've been through a swim meet and probably a new USA registration period, but it's probably 90%.
So this will come down extreme. It shouldn't be that much more onto it, but I'm going to try to have a better number when we do the mid-year revision, so it'll look like what the real number is, and then after that, then it should be covered by the coach.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And I don't have any questions, although I wanted to point out, I had asked Kaz about line number 106, the cell phone usage. You made a notice, it was at 8%, and it's one of those things where he's been holding down the costs, and I want to, good job on expense controls and holding things until we actually have the money to pay for them. So he's holding off paying his cell phone bills, and he'll bill us when we have the levy money in, which I think is It's like-
Joanne is doing the same on travel.
And it's like, that is above and beyond, and I wouldn't ever have expected it of you, but it's like, bless your hearts for doing it, but no, I would never task you to do that or anything, but good for you. So thank you for that. Anyway, Mr. Shingleton.
Next page.
Nope,
Page
Mr.
5.
Shingleton has,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought-
I don't have any.
and you have anything? Nope. Okay, now next page.
Okay, next page, page 5. We got two. Okay, line item 116. I think what this is it's a timing of purchase in the last year and then needing the stuff this year for cleaning and sanitation, but I don't anticipate that being we're not using more than we were. I just think that whenever the last payment was made last year, or the last bill we got on it, it just came up that we needed it again earlier than normal. We're not seeing it tracking, he's not coming in going, oh, I need more toilet paper, I need more window cleaner. I think it was just the way the timing on that. Okay, so that's 116. On office supplies, on line 122, you see that's a refund. So back in late 16, we needed more laminating paper, so we purchased some, and Julie saw it at a better price and returned it, and that's a refund is what that is. And then we purchased it at a different price this year. That's why that's that. And nothing else on this page for me. It starts the next page.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer?
Just out of curiosity, why are we using less CO2?
Oh my God, you answered that question. You didn't know. CO2 is used to keep the pH under control, and the pH is staying under control more. So that's really all this.
Don't know why. Is it the new pump moving water better, or?
It could be that, it could be a lot of things, but he's happy that he's not having to use as much.
I'll try to remember to ask him in the maintenance meeting.
Would you?
People are taking baths.
That was on my list too, because it was like, I know it has,
Just
so,
wondered why.
would you ask him and then get back to us?
Yes, good point.
People are being more sanitary, that's what it is.
They're doing something right.
Maybe they're taking showers.
Working showers, there we go, that's good.
Maybe it's the working showers.
Showers are getting all that nasty stuff out now, so.
Okay.
That's it on that page.
Did you have anything else? Commissioner Fort?
Nothing.
And that was all I had. Commissioner Shingleton?
My only question, so you referred to the office supplies and the credit there. Was that actually, so that's actually a monetary credit?
Yes.
Okay. Just as it was suggested to us by the accountant not to have negatives in a revenue. So I realize that there are different ways to do it, and so I'm just revoicing that as in reality it seems like this should be zero, and then that revenue would go into a refund on the revenue side. So just in terms of, because otherwise it kind of looks misleading in a certain way. Does that make sense? I think, and I don't know if she disagrees with me, but I think Joanne understood what I meant, and you might disagree with that. I just want to bring it up.
Well, I think it's when the purchase happened and when the refund happened. Purchase happened in the 16, and then the refund is, I need to enter it when it showed on our credit card statement. I can't deviate from that because auditors will have questions.
Sure.
It's
And
clear to me here.
what's that?
It makes it clear to me where it's coming from. If it's just sort of in a refund area, then somebody's going to say, well, where'd that refund come from? And now
And I understand. I think I'm just suggesting that because we were given that as the best practice. And again, I'm not, you know what, if you've looked at this, you do this every day and I know that. And I'm not trying to suggest otherwise.
Well, and I think that his concern was having a negative number on the income side. This is a negative number on the expense side. And the way that QuickBooks works, this is the only way that you can recognize it for the line item it was originally expensed to, would be to give the credit back there. if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I think, there's probably a little more detail question that is not really, exciting for anyone but a dork like me, quite frankly. I'll just admit it. So, some of it would be is if there's additional account coding and if there would be an offsetting part on the revenue side. But again, I'm simply bringing it up and I'll leave it there. So I trust you and you've been through an audit, so I know that you know what they're looking for. So, done.
Commissioner Frosch?
Nope.
Okay, next page.
Okay, page 6. So line 141 is web hosting. So when we did the budget for this year, we went, oh, okay, yeah, it was this, and I wasn't aware that we had been given a discount because they were offsetting our penalty a little bit, trying to help us out. But this is actually what the cost is, the $39.99. So I'll have to amend that in the mid-year revision, but it's actually what the cost is, not what we thought it was going to be. Or I did. I don't even know that I just assumed that, so I take it on that. Line 153, health and safety art. So we're tracking really good on that, and there's some more to come. But I'm going to recommend that we change the title of this because it's kind of misleading. I'd like to change the name on this to art courses and fees because that's more what the line item really is. And so if there's not a problem with that, I'm just going to going forward, that's what we're going to do. And that's all I had on page 6.
Go back. Commissioner Frosch?
Nope.
Commissioner Shingleton?
I will just renew my suggestion on the security system thing that we break those out between standard service and maintenance or incidental or whatever.
So break out the annual fee as opposed to any service calls, which brings me to a point. There is going to be another one on there because the monitor in the big office, in the office we're in, quit, and so we just got another bill from them. So that'll have to be modified and maybe revision, but there is another expense to it.
You done?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
So on the security system, you said it's it unless we have another need for a service call. So how many of these do we normally have in a year, or is it completely random?
We built in, I think it's $460 something is what the annual fee is. And then we had up $700 because, okay, in case they have to come out for something, but they've been out twice now. Oh, well, actually, the most recent one is because it's part of the fire inspection that the fire department does. They saw that the fire system hadn't been checked. It wasn't checked in last year either. So they had to come out, we had to get them to come out and then recertify it, and they sent a note to the fire department saying, yeah, everything's all good. So that's the one.
That wasn't their mistake?
No, I don't know if it was their mistake last year or not, or who.
If it was, then you shouldn't charge us for it.
They're not going to not charge us for a visit out.
I mean, but if they came out last year and that was something they overlooked, they should
Well, I
need
don't
it.
think they came out last year.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. And
All right.
I didn't catch it because I wasn't aware of it. So.
All right.
And how old is our system? I mean, this is our security system that, the doors are alarmed, that's what we're talking about, right? How old is the system?
I don't have a CMD maintenance plan with me. I don't know. I know the cameras went in a few years ago, but they don't monitor those. We do.
Right.
I don't know. I know it's probably in the comprehensive maintenance plan that you guys are reviewing right now. I know it had it in there as when it was installed,
Okay.
and I don't remember.
Okay, and then the art courses and fees, so we're at 55%. So my question is, are we on track for, because we guesstimated, I thought we were based on how many courses we were going to do. So are we completely on track with what we've planned for the whole year? So this is, the 55% is on track? Yes, okay.
And we may get another course in. We may be able to raise that number. I mean, well, it would be raised on the revenue side as well.
Yes,
So
depending on, yeah, okay. Just want to check and make sure.
we're on track right now.
All right, Commissioner Fort.
Line 146, I've brought this up before, credit card processing. This is probably one of the largest areas I think we could make a gain, decrease our costs. Most businesses now are charging, if you go to the gas station, they charge extra to use credit card versus using debit card or cash. And they pointed out downtown, and a lot of businesses now, because credit cards are starting to charge more, are starting to require either debit cards or checks or cash, or they charge extra. So they set their price up at the credit card price, and they give them a discount if they pay, including going to my dentist, for God's sake. So I still think we should look into having things priced, because the credit cards, the people who are using credit cards get 1% to 2% back. That's sort of one of the reasons they use it. I think we should look into trying reducing that, and encouraging people to use debit cards, cash, or pay by check. Let's see, and 169, this is just sort of like you brought up at the beginning, and I agree with you, if we had gotten the levy, we would have had, 144,000, that's 144,000 for the quarter, And the same thing with the insurance, if I figure in costs, I sort of, in my mind, think, 65,000, $16,000 of that covers the first quarter. So that's sort of just like adding that into income, the first part. You got to sort of take that out of the cost in the second part. So it sort of decreases that's how I do it in my mind, just so that I can see it. Because I basically came up with, we're probably about $3,000 in the black, all considered.
I shall address what I
Okay, thanks.
in a second.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yeah, the credit card processing, the one thing I did notice there when I buy my lunch before our meetings, maybe it's dinner, I don't remember. Anyway, I think there's a $2.50 minimum before they'll swipe the card or something like that. That was one small control there, I guess they have. And then the only other question I had, and I guess it would have probably been better before we passed the budget, but it was a little overwhelming. The security system, who offers that coverage?
It's Evergreen Security out of Everett, and we actually, Julie just texted, it was purchased in '99 and then upgraded in '13.
She thinks it was upgraded
Yeah.
in 2012, 2013.
Yeah, it was purchased in '99, and then the system, all the monitors were upgraded in 2012 or 2013.
I mean, I guess, look at the $700, it's probably less than my personal phone and internet bill for the year, so I suppose it's probably fair, but that's something you shop around on, I would assume. Or are we under a lengthy
We're
contract?
under a contract that auto renews unless I change
Oh.
it. And I don't know who else is around here, but I can certainly look into it.
I think Whitby Telecom offers it locally.
Who's that?
Whitby Telecom, out of Bayview, is that what town that
Yeah.
is? Out of Bayview.
So, and we probably already own all
I just
the
know that-
equipment's in there by now.
Having a local company, sometimes it can really cut down on that, because they're usually charging you dock to dock. So sometimes it can cut down on the service fees maybe.
I'll check into some options on that.
That's all I had.
Sorry, can I back up?
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner Schenck.
My apologies, because I know that I should know the answer to this, and so I apologize, but number 152, the dues and memberships, what does that include?
For now, that's Costco.
Is the one expense?
What is it?
Okay.
Oh,
I missed it.
Costco,
Executive membership, $110.
Costco.
Costco. Oh, okay.
And so then the total of the budget amount, my apologies, I know that if I went back and looked, I probably don't have it written down somewhere, so I'm just asking, and if you don't know off the top of your, I know it includes the chamber, and it obviously includes at least one other thing.
Red Cross is like $300.
It's in there?
Isn't that, the Red Cross is the $300, right?
I just saw it the other day. You were showing me that. I don't remember what it is, too. It's we do chamber.
Red Cross was,
Red- No, we don't do
Does the chamber have more than one level?
we're at like
I'll find that
350.
answer out and email you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, again, and that way I won't, when I forget next time, you can say, look at your email.
Just make sure you listen to the meeting today.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, next page.
Okay, last page. So, the last line item that I'm going to cover is the spa boiler. And so this one I did go and look last year because I wanted to get an idea, because to me it was further out of whack than the other things were.
Actually, to me.
Last year, we were at 33% year-to-date, and we're a little bit above that now. Like the last two bills that we've gotten from them have been now back down even to the norm, maybe slightly lower than the norm. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I wish I knew how, this is one of those things that, like the city water, that we still don't know how they do what they do, but they do it. We kind of just live with it. So that's it on the line item. So I'll go ahead and finish my thing here. So in summary, currently if you look at the bottom line down there in 202, we're about 58K in a deficit. Contrast that with last year, we were actually at 100K deficit last year at the end of Q1. So again, I think that's a 42,000 improvement. Now, something that I mentioned and Commissioner Fort talked about, if we had the levy money distributed evenly, we'd have had 232K, less 193 in expenses. We'd be 39,000 in the black right now with that. So we're doing what we can, because the only thing we can really control, well, we can control a lot of things, but the thing we can control best are expenses, and that's where we're trying to do it to help keep us from going up there. So I'm done with that, but as soon as the questions are done, I have three other questions that I'd like to ask too.
Okay, Commissioner Hoffmeyer, questions on the last page.
Yeah, just the spa boiler there. It's one of those weird things. Utilities seem like they come in different. I don't know if the natural gas company puts a different octane mix in sometimes. If it's the coldest winter we've had in 122 years, or that maybe the wind blows and it struggles more to exhaust. But I've always noticed that with natural gas appliances, that they seem like they're all over the chart for no reason usually. So,
we can't ascertain a reason.
so I guess the fact that it's only at 39 instead of 33 is probably close enough.
Well, I don't like that. I'm just going to keep an eye on it and hope it evens back out before the end of the year. Maybe we'll get on some.
See Clover Valley, looks like it's still at 0%. Do we have any idea on when some of that money might have got expended there? Or?
Well, now that we have the levy, as you recall, we were going to wait until the levy came to do stuff out there, and we'll work with the subcommittee to figure out. I know they're looking at a plan for some volunteers to do a billion, but then we just need to figure out what we want to do with it. But we can do that in a subcommittee meeting.
Awesome. That's all I had.
Commissioner Fort?
Yeah, so basically going back, I guess, if you added the levy, fund in the beginning, you got to add things back in on the cost side that you, for example, I just talked about the reserve, 16,000. Not the insurance of the 60, yes, right. So if you distribute it evenly, add $16,000 into expenses for that quarter. We're going to have to pay for the voting and the levy and so on and so forth, which is, I assume, is going to be about $20,000 for both of them. So I added $5,000 in for that, which is going to decrease. And also, do we have to add back in the $15,000 that we were putting back into reserves?
It's not an expense. It was a transfer of money. So now that we have it, it's just like moving money back to your savings account. It's not an expense.
All right. So that's basically 16 and 5, 20, 21,000 that you have to add to the expense if you're going to do it the same way you did it with the other one. So we're still coming out in the black, but a little less.
Right.
Okay.
Number 173, 174, 175, the CVP water, patron water, pool water, garbage are all really low. Are these similar to first quarter of last year also? Did you compare those? I mean, they're really low, which is a good thing. I just am like, well, I don't understand why we're using so little water. I know we were closed for a while, but that couldn't, why only 9%? Just,
I don't have an answer for that, but I
could you
can-
just check the first quarter numbers, and it's like, if they're roughly similar, then that, okay, it's a winter thing, maybe. I was just curious.
So that's 173 through 5?
Yeah. See how low they all are?
Yeah, we'll find that answer for you.
Thank you, that's all. Commissioner Shingleton?
So am I correct in making the assumption that 185 and 186 are the breakout of 191? So audit and clean water utility, the breakout, or a partial breakout from intergovernmental other, is that accurate? Okay. So I noted, I mean, honestly, the tip-off was that there's no budget amount, and that's, okay. All right, and I know I've asked several times, so I didn't want to, like, what's wrong with, no, it's what, yeah, it's good, because it has good visibility, so appreciate that, and if it would be helpful for us, not obviously right at this moment, but to amend the budget, if do whatever, please just let us know. And then the only other thing I was going to say is the summary that you gave at the end, Kaz, about the kind of all things being equal. That's really helpful. I think that's it's helpful to understand, and we know all things aren't necessarily equal, but in not only the revenue side but the expense side, but it still is, I feel like, a good litmus test that takes us away from focusing on a minus 58,000. So thank you for providing that. It's real helpful. That is all.
Commissioner Frosch?
Nope.
Okay,
Well, I had a couple questions. This goes back to last week, around just about 5 ago. So last week, the motion parked certain line items into certain buckets, like the program and levy buckets. Well, what I didn't come out there is the intent of that levy motion that the difference between what we receive in levy and what's in the bucket for levy expenses, that deficit, if it goes more than, that's going to be the basis of lane cost per hour when we're doing stuff? Is that the, I'm trying to make, it wasn't specified, but that's my assumption.
That was the intention.
Okay. The next question is something here, I go around, I mean, I did it one way because that's the way I heard a previous composition of the commission do it. For rounding, is there a consistency that you want done? Like everything gets rounded up if it's a penny up, or if it's to the nearest dollar or the nearest 50 cents? I just want to make sure that I mean, I know how I would do it, but I want to make sure that
How would you do it?
I'd round it to the nearest 50 cents probably. But I don't know if there's a preference or why. I just want to be consistent on everything I'm doing. Up to now, I've always rounded everything just up.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you.
I don't know that it needs a resolution. I mean, I'm just looking for guidance on that.
So up to the nearest 50 cents is how you would do
Well,
it?
if it's 49 cents, you go down to the next lower level, right? And if it's, is that what you're talking about? If it's,
Well, it's the nearest 50 cent. If I'm going to the nearest dollar, then it's 0.
okay, so if it's 24 cents or less, then it's $2 or whatever, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it goes down.
Right.
25, it goes to 50.
50
it's
and then
75, it goes to the
okay,
next
good, I
dollar.
like that, all right.
I don't.
I mean, we charge 50 cents, we charge $2.50, so, I mean, if we can use that, then that's, yeah, why can't we?
I
like that
was
rounding.
looking for some guidance on that.
And
so.
removes the chaos theory problem.
Can I add something to that, though? So I know in most of the calculations that I've seen that we're using the number 5,500 for available hours, and I don't know if that's an exact number.
It's not exact.
Okay.
Close.
Well, and so I think just my suggestion and would be, and I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but I would make the assumption in there of some idle time. So whatever the actual hours are minus, I'm going to say 10%, but just meaning that there's going to be some time when the pool is available for a party rental and someone doesn't rent it, or there's going to be some downtime, or there's going to be, so it's just accounting for when that calculation is made, that you're not overextending it based on 100% capacity, because effectively that's what you would be doing. And we know that we may be very, very high, but that we aren't assuming 100%, because it's not going to happen, whether it's...
Yeah, we have unforeseen closure times,
Right.
so breakdowns, and we've increased our holiday closure times and so on and so forth, so.
Yeah, and so 5,500 could be, 5,558 is the number that I came up with last year when I did it all, so it's close to it.
And I would just say back off of that. This would be my suggestion. If we need to...
5,500, that's 58 hours is probably the amount of...
And that would suggest 99% availability and actually 99% consumption. So if we are somewhere between 99 and 100 predictably year over year, that would be fine. I think what I'm suggesting is maybe be a little more conservative, such that it still needs to be reasonable, and I'm not trying to suggest otherwise. But
so you're talking like someone who's billable, what their utilization rate is,
kind of, yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah. I mean, as an example, yeah. So we're.
5%,
Ooh, that's too much, no.
I'm not trying to overthink it, but I think even if it's 5%, that would give, because I think 1% is, it assumes, because you could also, you could apply this to manufacturing or server availability or whatever you want to, but 99% is a super, super high expectation. And we know that whether it's because there's an incident in the pool and people need to exit and then the pool needs to be cleaned. There are lots of different reasons why that could happen. And so just backing off a little bit to ensure that we're not, that we're covering what needs to be covered and that we're not assuming 100% availability. You would have a better probably guess, but I would just be a little conservative. That's my suggestion.
I'll think about it and let you know. I'm thinking 90 or 95% probably, but I'll put some thought into it.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Commissioner Frost, did you?
No, he's got a
My
question.
last
Okay.
3 questions.
Sorry.
So right now you've
I was
got,
doing the same
here's
thing.
the levy, and then here's the overage, because there's an overage in it right now, or what's in the bucket for it. Over time, through expense controls and the levy coming up and whatever, let's say we get to the point where it's equal, or the levy completely, or more than covers what's in the bucket for being paid for out of the M&O. Do we do away with lane cost at that point, or I'm just trying to figure out what we do, since it looks like we're...
Not until we get $200,000 or $300,000 in the reserve or better,
Well,
and pay off all the maintenance expenses we have.
okay, I'm just trying to figure out what
And
the...
when that comes about, then we can talk about it.
I think some of the strategy was also intended to take the approach of pay ourselves first. So when we, and I made a note to just think on it a little bit, but I think that part of what, again, any, financial advisor would tell you to do that for yourself. And so the idea being that we determine for the following year how much we intend to put into reserves, and that we figure that into the calculation. Based on a smart number that's going to be healthy for our anticipated maintenance needs and for that future building, if that's helpful. I feel like I just keep talking.
I just wanted to, those weren't clear to me after last week. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm clear on how I'm doing it.
I think I like incentives, I understand pay ourselves first, because we got to maintain if something happens, we got something different to. But I also like the incentives aspect of it as well, because that's how you get new business. Incentives brings in new customers or new patrons, but it's only going to be a percentage of what we get on their advice. okay, we're gonna do, let's say 80%, we're gonna put in reserves, 20% we're gonna put off to the side, so if we did get to that, we could use that 20% to, try to get new people coming in.
That's $500,000 down the road.
It's just one of those things that we can, look into right now, Vice,
That's
when
not
it does
gonna
come.
take
Sorry,
10 years.
we're trying not to interrupt, sorry.
So, it's just one of those things that we can look into. I'm not saying that we're even gonna make it or whatever. It's just one of those what ifs. I mean, tell you the truth, I like incentives. Everybody likes incentives.
One of our problems with incentives is gifting of taxpayer money. So, but we can talk offline on that sometime, and I can hear your ideas, and then we can sort of mold if there's a path forward in that.
Okay,
My take on your question was, last week, my assumption was that, you know, at some point in the near future, we will determine how much money a year we want to go into that reserve, at 30,000 or 50,000 or whatever that number is. And then if there is something left over, then maybe it could bring down the lane cost or something. Is that kind of how you guys understood it as well, or?
How about maintenance issues? That
Once I said, I think we got
underfunded,
we got some stuff we need to deal with, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we also got to be cognizant of, we have to have customers as well. And I think we need to sit down with our next budget coming up and figure out how much money a year we want to put away.
Well, then-
Because we can't just, I mean, we could, there might be a way to put 300,000 in there right now or within the year, but it might run everything else out of the water, you know?
No, nobody's saying that.
So exactly, so I think, I'm hoping that when we pass our next budget, we can come up with
All
a
I'm saying,
number.
I mean, that's 30, if we can make 30 or 40,000 dollars a year.
Be nice.
So, and we're probably, and like I said, that's where I came up with 10 years. I mean,
Yeah.
10 years from now, we can start talking about that. But I think we have other issues. This is kind of a new question, as
Except
far as I'm concerned.
Except the 300 goes to a roof and we still have no reserve, but anyway.
That's all I'm saying is about the incentives, is the incentives like lowering prices or doing other stuff like that.
I guess I
Not
hope
gift
there's
cards.
enough leeway to where if he thinks we can start a program that ends up bringing in more revenue, hopefully we'll be receptive to that down the road. We
Okay.
definitely need more revenue.
yes. Okay, did you have any other questions or your answer? Okay, we are finished with our meeting. Next meeting, we already talked about, it's going to be a couple weeks. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion that we adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:07 PM. Thank you.